fire their coach. They're going to let Dak go. They're going to then draft Shedeur Sanders and hire Deion Sanders as their head coach.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
That's a good take right there.
That is hot. I've been hot.
You think that happens?
Yeah. No.
This is the most hype they've ever had. Like, it's the Browns.
Exactly.
So, he got drafted to the wrong team. That Sanders name, I'm telling you right now, there's only one person that understands business, and he will trade his quarterback for Sanders. Dallas is where Sanders is going to be.
Wow.
Because that name on the back of that jersey is the legacy, and he's going to want that to ring
The
bells.
NFL rumor mill.
What if I told you the Cleveland Browns might be about to hand over the NFL's next superstar, gift-wrapped, to the most headline-hungry franchise in football? Just because they couldn't see what was right in front of them? It sounds like a bad rerun, but this isn't fiction. It's the Browns doing what they do best, fumbling potential, mangling development, and letting the Cowboys cash in. While Shedeur Sanders, yes, that Sanders, is quietly rotting on the Cleveland bench. Dallas is hovering like a vulture, chest out, checkbook ready, and cameras rolling. And the second his name even leaks into Cowboy territory, the entire Browns front office goes full panic mode. We're talking late-night emergency meetings, internal chaos, and a GM sweating hard enough to flood the practice facility. This isn't just another trade rumor.
I don't know.
Does that mean Flacco and we already know he's the third quarterback. So what? Nothing weird has to happen. The first two quarterbacks got to get hurt or be terrible.
Yeah, that's.
And then he'll get a chance.
That's what she means, I think.
Yeah. So, but who didn't know that already?
I think we all knew that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know why that's a news story.
Because it makes. I mean, she's the first person to put it in print where she says he's not playing this year.
But he's going to play this year, I assume, because I don't think these guys are going to make it through the season. Joe Flacco, no way.
This could be the most embarrassing what could have been moment in recent NFL memory. One that turns Shedeur Sanders into a Cowboy and turns Cleveland into a meme. And the most painful part? He hasn't even taken a real NFL snap yet. So how did we get here? Is Dallas suddenly obsessed with a quarterback Cleveland refuses to use? And could this rumor actually become the storyline that defines the 2025 NFL season? Shedeur Sanders didn't just walk into the NFL. He arrived with a name that echoes legacy, stats that screen potential, and the kind of confidence you can't fake. He's calm under pressure, sharp with the ball, and built for big moments. But instead of showcasing all that firepower under the lights, Cleveland's keeping him locked away like a secret no one asked for. No meaningful snaps, no chances in crunch time. The only action he sees is in preseason mop-up duty and meaningless late-game cameos next to linemen whose bags are already half-packed.
Dallas seems to be a place that can check all the boxes for Shedeur realistically instead of Cleveland. So we're going to see. So I think the Dallas Cowboys could be his next.
I mean, it's a Cowboys move. It's Jerry Jones. It's exactly what he would want to do. Now, as far as Shedeur Sanders being future quarterback, future wide, all that stuff, bringing him in, of course you want to see. But I mean, you just signed Dak Prescott. How much money? We got hurt.
$60 million a year.
I know.
You wouldn't know he was one of the most hyped prospects coming into the league. To the Browns, he's just a name on a depth chart, stashed behind veterans who've already hit their ceiling. It's like buying a Ferrari and only using it to drive through your neighborhood to check the mailbox. What's the point? And remember, this isn't just any rookie. This is Deion Sanders' son. This is a walking brand, a future face of the league candidate. And still, the Browns treat him like he's just another clipboard holder wearing a jersey 2 sizes too big. But here's where it gets worse. Other teams are starting to notice it too. Because when you bury a gem this bright, someone is always watching. And when that someone happens to be the Dallas Cowboys, the franchise that survives off spectacle, star power, and a good old-fashioned football shakeup, you've got a problem far bigger than a crowded QB room.
The Cowboys are trading Dak Prescott to draft Shedeur Sanders. Hey, hear me out. I know y'all been hearing these rumors about Dak Prescott going to the Browns. If it's out like this, it ain't fake. This is what I think is happening. Remember when Jerry Jones made that call to Deion Sanders? It wasn't about the head coaching job. It was about his son. And I think that Jerry Jones is trading Dak Prescott for draft picks in the player so they can move up in the draft and draft Shedeur Sanders. Remember, Shedeur is a big...
Cleveland has the goods. They just don't know what they're sitting on. But Dallas, they know value when they see it. And they're circling. The moment Shedeur Sanders' name whispered its way into Dallas Cowboys rumors, it was like throwing gasoline on a bonfire. The NFL rumor mill didn't just spark, it exploded. Because this isn't just any team we're talking about. This is Jerry Jones's Cowboys. America's team. The franchise that turns every move into a documentary. Every headline into a marketing opportunity. And every player into a potential reality show spinoff. And Shedeur, he fits too perfectly. Young, flashy, confident. A quarterback with a Sanders bloodline, camera-ready charisma, and the type of backstory that practically begs for a 10-part Netflix doc. For Dallas, that's not just a quarterback, that's content.
Is going to be the third father to son to get drafted in the first round?
I mean, that's a no-brainer, man. Come on, like to say is Shedeur not going to be a first-round talent, a first-round pick? I think he's going to be top 5. He might be number 1 overall taking player in the 2025 draft. That's a bold statement. Go on clips, go on to mark it up, however you want to say it. D-Jack said it here live on 2510. He might be the first player taken in the 2025 draft. But that's a no-brainer, man. Yeah, he's
so see, now I think Shedeur is the best quarterback in college football. Hands down.
So that's the number 1 pick, yeah.
But
Travis Hunter.
He should not be the first pick overall.
Who? Shedeur?
Yes.
I mean, do you know who might be?
Don't matter.
Might be the Raiders.
Insiders started buzzing. Was Jerry getting ready to make a move? Was this part of a bigger plan? A Dak Prescott exit? A Deion Sanders coaching call? And a new era built around the Sanders name? It sounded wild until it didn't. Because with the Cowboys, nothing is too dramatic. They don't rebuild quietly. They reinvent loudly. And if there's a way to get clicks, tickets, and national headlines all in one move, Jerry Jones is the first to sign the check. Meanwhile, over in Cleveland, panic starts to set in. They didn't even fully commit to developing Shedeur. But the second Dallas enters the chat, they start treating him like untouchable royalty. Suddenly, the rookie they benched turns into a franchise asset. The irony? The Browns had him the whole time. Dallas just noticed sooner. And if trade talks heat up any further, Cleveland won't just lose a player, they'll lose control of the story.
Sanders is there for some reason. Would you take him?
You're going to need something for the future. And if you get a chance, absolutely, I'm taking him. I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders if he's there. And with Shedeur and then Dak and
Genty, you would take Shedeur over Genty.
I got personal things I'm trying to make go down here. You know, are you serious?
I got you.
Right.
Well, you know Shedeur better than the average person.
And I love Shedeur. And all that noise that people are talking about, and you're talking about, oh, he's this and he's that. I'm like, shut up. He's exactly.
The whispers started quietly. But inside the Browns facility, they hit like a nuclear siren. Shedeur Sanders, Dallas Cowboys, trade rumors. That's all it took. Suddenly, Andrew Berry, the Browns general manager, is being described as furious, scrambling, and completely blindsided. Internally, it's full-on damage control. One moment, they're brushing Shedeur off as a developmental project. The next, he's being treated like the centerpiece of the franchise's future. Please. Where was all this fire when he was riding the bench next to third stringers updating their LinkedIns during halftime? Now, sources say Barry's melting down, walking the halls mumbling about wasted potential, missed opportunities, and front-page disasters. People on the inside say he looks like he found out his fantasy team got auto-drafted with kickers in every round. It's not just about losing a player anymore. It's about losing face.
Is there for some reason. Would you take him?
You're going to need something for the future. And if you get a chance, absolutely, I'm taking him. I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders if he's there. And with Shedeur and then Dak and
Genty, you would take Shedeur over Genty.
I got personal things I'm trying to make go down here. You know, are you serious?
I got you.
Right.
Well, you know Shedeur better than the average person.
And I love Shedeur. And all that.
Because if Shedeur gets scooped up by Dallas and even flashes greatness, even a little, Barry becomes the GM who benched a star and handed him to his biggest competition. And fans aren't gonna forget that. To the outside world, it's hilarious. Typical Browns chaos. But inside, this could be the move that torpedoes everything. Reputations, careers, the so-called long-term plan. And the best part, Shedeur hasn't said a word. He hasn't demanded a trade. He's not throwing shade. He's just quietly existing while Cleveland spirals and Dallas plots in silence. Imagine how terrifying that must feel for a franchise used to being in control. Shedeur doesn't have to do anything because now Dallas is doing it for him. Let's be real. There are just some players who belong on certain stages. And Shedeur Sanders in a Cowboys jersey, it's not just a good fit. It's box office gold. Start with the name, Sanders. It already echoes through NFL history. Dion redefined swagger on the field. Now, his son, armed with precision, poise, and that same ruthless confidence, is waiting for his turn. And where better than under the biggest spotlight in sports? Dallas lives for this. They don't chase championships. They chase spectacle. They print TV ratings, not playbooks. Look at their history. Terrell Owens, Des Bryant, Ezekiel Elliott. All entertainers as much as athletes. Shedeur? He checks every box. Built for pressure, media ready, legacy attached, and most importantly, undeniably talented. And let's not forget, Jerry Jones lives for chaos. If he thinks signing Shedeur will sell 10,000 jerseys before lunch and steal every sports headline for a month, he won't hesitate. He'll clear out space, move contracts, maybe even dangle Dak Prescott in a trade, all for the chance to roll out Primetime 2.0. Even Cowboys fans, some of the toughest critics in the league, are circling this storyline. They see the writing on the wall. That window with Dak doesn't feel like it's getting any wider. And if Shedeur ends up there, it's not a rebuild. It's a full-blown reboot. Cameras, headlines, and Deion Sanders one phone call away from the biggest reunion the NFL has ever seen. Cleveland had the script in hand, but Dallas, they've got the cameras rolling. If the NFL handed out trophies for ruining elite quarterback prospects, the Browns would have an entire wing in the Hall of Shame. Let's just call it what it is. Cleveland has turned QB mismanagement into an art form. Brady Quinn, Colt McCoy, Johnny Manziel, Deshaun Kaiser, Baker Mayfield, and now, potentially, Shedeur Sanders. One more name added to the graveyard of quarterbacks who came in full of promise and left in silence. There's not a plan in place. There never was. Just a rotating cast of desperate decisions and rookie talents sabotaged from day one. And now, with Shedeur, it feels like deja vu Ultra HD. Draft the exciting kid, parade him around briefly, then bench him so deep he needs searchlights to find the playbook. And fans, they've seen this movie before, over and over. It's like watching someone fumble a winning lottery ticket year after year. The Browns had everything in front of them. A fresh face, a legacy name, a golden opportunity to reboot the franchise's identity. But instead, they tucked him away behind veterans playing on borrowed time. No wonder fans are furious. Worse yet, now that Dallas is sniffing around, the Browns suddenly care. Now they want to protect Shedeur. Now they call him a valuable asset. Now they want to look smarter than they've acted. But it's too late for damage control. Because here's the brutal truth. The Browns don't develop QBs. They destroy them. And Shedeur? He's one play away from becoming just another cautionary tale in a city that still hasn't figured out the most important job in football. Dallas didn't create this problem, Cleveland did. And Dallas is ready to profit from the consequences. While Cleveland spins in circles and Dallas carefully sharpens its pitch, Shedeur Sanders hasn't said a single word. No complaints, no interviews, no cryptic social media messages. Just silence. And that silence, it's loud. Because in a league full of loudmouths and locker room leaks, someone as media savvy and confident as Shedeur choosing to stay quiet doesn't go unnoticed. He's not sulking, he's waiting. Calm, still, almost surgical. And it's terrifying for the teams involved. See, when most rookies beg for reps or blast teams online, they just look desperate. But when Shedeur keeps his head down and lets the swirl around him grow into a Category 5 storm, that's power. It sends a message. I don't need to chase the spotlight. The spotlight follows me. Cleveland's starting to realize it too. The guy they've been hiding like a backup USB drive is becoming the story of the season, without needing a single snap. Meanwhile, Dallas is watching like a chess master 3 moves ahead. Because Shedeur isn't just potential, he's leverage. He's a young quarterback with prime-time charisma, a famous last name, and a fan base already brewing. And if he remains quiet, patient, and poised, he becomes more dangerous every single week. He doesn't need to throw. He doesn't need to tweet. He just needs to exist. And eventually, the levee breaks. The media storm, the trade talk, the pressure, it's all building. One move, one leak, or one headline from Dallas, and Shedeur goes from rookie project to franchise savior overnight. Cleveland's ignoring him. Dallas is calculating him. And Shedeur, he's just waiting. Okay, now imagine this. The Cowboys go mid-pack this season. Just good enough to stay relevant, but bad enough to disappoint every fan clinging to hope. The moment the season ends, Mike McCarthy is out. Jerry grabs his phone, makes a single call to Deion Sanders. No, not for a pep talk, not for advice, for the job. And right behind that, a move so wild it could break the internet. Dak Prescott traded for draft picks, opens up cap space, clears the runway, and on draft night, with the 12th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, Colorado. The stadium erupts, primetime sun in a Cowboys jersey, Deion possibly coaching, cameras rolling, Netflix already drafting scripts. Far-fetched? Maybe, but exactly the kind of chaos Jerry Jones lives for. Dak's already on a short leash. His contract's massive. The pressure's rising. And Jerry's never met a flashy headline he didn't love. If there's a way to rewrite the Cowboys' entire identity around Shedeur Sanders, he won't hesitate. Meanwhile, back in Cleveland, they become the punchline. They had every piece in place. A talented rookie with star written all over him. And they let him rot, only to hand him to the flashiest team in football. And once Shedeur is throwing spirals under the lights at AT&T Stadium, while Deion stands on the sideline in a custom suit, that's not football. That's cultural domination. TV, merchandise, documentaries, legacy, and drama, all in one play. And Cleveland, they won't even need a scoreboard to know they lost, because this wouldn't just be a trade. It would be a total franchise reset. Picture it. Shedeur Sanders jogging out of the tunnel in Dallas, silver star on his helmet, crowd roaring loud enough to shake state lines. He's not just the newest Cowboy, he's the future. And back in Cleveland, silence, regret, anger. The kind of emotional collapse that doesn't show up on the scoreboard, but punches fans in the chest anyway. Because this wouldn't just be a trade gone wrong. It would be a blueprint of everything Cleveland always gets wrong. They had him. They drafted him. They called him a project, locked him behind aging quarterbacks, and now they're watching him turn into a franchise cornerstone in Texas, while they're stuck defending whatever fourth-string fallback they forgot to cut in the preseason. And here's the worst part. Fans already saw it coming. People have begged for years for Cleveland to treat their quarterbacks better, to stop the revolving door, to pick a talent, build around him, and be patient. They had that chance with Shedeur, and now they're watching all of it. The potential, the branding, the upside, the legacy turn into billboard material in Dallas. Because the Cowboys, They don't waste talent. They weaponize it. And as the Sanders name lights up prime time in Dallas, Cleveland will be left holding a box of excuses and a highlight reel full of what-ifs. The GM will call it strategy. The coach will say it wasn't the right time. The media will spin it any way they can. But the fans, they'll know. They fumbled the bag badly, and there's no coming back from this one. This isn't just a trade rumor. This is a case study in how a franchise can have something special and still mess everything up. The Browns didn't just forget to play Shedeur Sanders. They ignored him, downplayed him, treated him like a footnote when he should have been a headline. And now, the second another team sees the vision, they want to act surprised? Please. Meanwhile, Shedeur hasn't lobbied, cried, or begged for attention. He's just been waiting, while the Browns build bad habits and the Cowboys build a plan. And when the day comes, and yes, it feels more like when than if, that he ends up on a bigger stage, wearing a louder jersey, commanding a real offense, Cleveland can't pretend they didn't know. Because this isn't new. They mishandled Baker. They ghosted Johnny. They jeopardized careers with instability, pride, and ego. And now they're on the edge of doing it again, with perhaps the most exciting QB prospect they've drafted in a generation. Shedeur Sanders is more than a name, more than a legacy, more than hype. He's a story waiting to be told, and the only question left is who's going to get to tell it. Will it be Cleveland, finally waking up before it's too late? Or Dallas, already polishing the stage, queuing up the lights, and preparing to crown Primetime 2.0 as the face of a new era?